Welcome to Microchip's briefing. The content of the briefing includes exclusive, upcoming U.S. rules on AI chip exports aim to stop workarounds. Trump's former fixer in court, UK by-elections and Argentina goes to the polls. Tesla, Netflix, and banks highlight earnings rush, the week ahead. Tokyo Electron takes aim at NAND etching leader Lam Research. Kyocera, Miko, other Japan makers seek investments outside China. Exclusive, upcoming U.S. rules on AI chip exports aim to stop workarounds. Reuters. The U.S. will introduce new rules to prevent American chipmakers from selling products to China that bypass government restrictions, according to an official, as part of the Biden administration's efforts to effectively block more AI chip exports. The new rules will add to existing U.S. restrictions on shipments of advanced chips and chip-making equipment to China and will block some AI chips that fall just under current technical parameters while requiring companies to report shipments of others. The restrictions are expected to be announced this week. Trump's former fixer in court, UK by-elections and Argentina goes to the polls. Financial Times. The Financial Times will be covering the Israel-Hamas war in full over the next 7 days. The UK's Conservative and Scottish National parties are attempting to retain power in the Westminster and Holyrood parliaments, respectively. Former US President Donald Trump will appear in a New York court on Tuesday to hear his one-time lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen testify against him in a civil fraud case. Argentina has a general election on October 24, with the economy nervous about the possibility of a victory for radical right-wing economist Javier Milei, who wants to dollarize the economy. Key economic events this week include China's Q3 GDP data, UK employment and inflation figures and US retail sales for September. Netflix and Tesla will report quarterly results, as will Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, BNY Mellon and Morgan Stanley. Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC will also report on Thursday. Tesla, Netflix, and banks highlight earnings rush, the week ahead. Yahoo! Corporate earnings will be the center of attention this week, following weeks of Fed speak and rising yields driving stock action. Earnings from Bank of America and Goldman Sachs will provide a look at how the financial sector is responding to the rising rate environment, while Tesla and Netflix will highlight the start of tech earnings. Recent economic data showed inflation cooling enough for the market to bet that the Fed won't raise interest rates at its November meeting. However, combined with a strong September jobs report, there isn't a broad consensus that the Fed is done hiking altogether. This earnings season will show if company results can end the recent slump in stocks. The Street projected flat earnings compared to the same period a year prior. Tokyo Electron takes aim at NAND etching leader Lam Research. Nikkei Asia. Tokyo Electron is going after US-based rival Lam Research with a new technology in 3D NAND flash memory channel etching. Tokyo Electron's new method of etching channel holes in 3D NAND flash memory can etch holes to a depth equivalent to more than 400 layers and do so 2.5 times faster than conventional technology. Lam currently has a 100% market share in NAND channel etching equipment. If Lam is unable to produce a product that can compete with Tokyo Electron's breakthrough, the company's current market shares could be reversed. Kyocera, Miko, other Japan makers seek investments outside China. Nikkei Asia. Japanese manufacturers are diversifying their supply chains away from China and investing in Southeast Asia, India, and North America due to geopolitical concerns. Kyocera plans to invest up to $671 million in its factory in Thailand to increase production of capacitors used in smartphones and electric vehicles. Miko Electronics will build a new factory in Vietnam to produce circuit boards mainly for use in cars. Meanwhile, Japanese direct investment in China fell 5.7% in 2022, while investment in India doubled and grew 28.7% in North America. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Hex from the Hex Dimension, here to bring you a brief summary of today's news. First off, the US is set to introduce new rules aimed at preventing American chipmakers from bypassing government restrictions and selling products to China. This move is part of the Biden administration's efforts to effectively block more AI chip exports. The new rules will add to existing restrictions on shipments of advanced chips and chip-making equipment to China, and will require companies to report shipments of certain AI chips. It's expected that these restrictions will be announced later this week. In other news, former US President Donald Trump is set to appear in court as his one-time lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen testifies against him in a civil fraud case. The UK is also gearing up for by-elections, with the Conservative and Scottish National parties attempting to retain power in the Westminster and Holyrood parliaments. Argentina is having a general election, and there's nervousness in the economy about the possibility of a victory for a radical right-wing economist who wants to dollarize the economy. Moving on, this week we'll see a rush of corporate earnings reports, with Tesla and Netflix among the companies set to announce their quarterly results. The financial sector will also be in focus, with Bank of America and Goldman Sachs reporting on how they're responding to the rising rate environment. And in tech news, Tokyo Electron is taking aim at US-based Lam Research in the NAND etching market, with a new technology that could potentially reverse their current market shares. Lastly, Japanese manufacturers are diversifying their supply chains away from China and investing in Southeast Asia, India, and North America due to geopolitical concerns. Companies like Kyocera and Miko Electronics are planning significant investments in factories outside of China, with the aim of increasing production and reducing dependence on the Chinese market. And that's a wrap for today's news. It's clear that there are significant shifts happening in the global tech and economic landscape. The US is tightening its grip on AI chip exports, which could have a major impact on the tech industry. Meanwhile, the upcoming corporate earnings reports and the diversification of supply chains away from China highlight the ongoing challenges and opportunities faced by businesses in an ever-changing world. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these stories. What do you make of the US tightening restrictions on AI chip exports? Are you excited to see the corporate earnings reports? And what do you think about Japanese manufacturers diversifying away from China? Let's discuss. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.